morning P6s. Mr. Colin at school on a Saturday, November 17th. I'm just doing a little lesson video that I'm going to post on the QR codes in our notebook list. So this is just a quick recap of what we did with our shape and space unit, which included perimeter, area, and volume. So let's take a look at the board now. Okay. So we talked about 3 different types of shapes this week. We talked about one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional shapes. So if you take a look at each dimensional shape, they are a little bit different. So with the one-dimensional, I can only use my ruler to measure one dimension, which is going to be length. When I look at my two-dimensional shapes, I now can have 2 things to measure. So I can measure my length, which is 13 centimeters, and I can measure my width, or I can call it my height, which is 4 centimeters. So one-dimensional, two-dimensional, so we're now looking at actual shapes such as a rectangle, and we also have three-dimensional, which we just talked about on Friday and Wednesday. So we're looking at height, length, and width now. So we have 3 things to measure. So we're measuring how long the bottom of this cube is, how tall it is, so our height, and we also have to take into consideration now the width going this way. So we have a third measurement, which is 4 centimeters. Okay, so now we're just going to looking at the 3 different shapes. We're going to now use perimeter, area, and volume to try and solve what the distances mean. So how do we find the perimeter, how do we find the area, and how do we find the volume of these shapes? So we're not going to be doing anything with one-dimensional for perimeter, area, and volume, but we're going to be using two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes. So when we take a look at perimeter, we're going to be using the strategy of addition. So the operation, we're going to be adding our sides together. So if we take a look at this shape here, it is a hexagon, but it's an irregular hexagon. It doesn't look like a normal hexagon because the sides are all different lengths. So when we look at our sides, we've got, each one, we have 2 that are the same, but for the most part they're all different. So we have to measure from each corner of the shape, we have to measure from one corner to another to find the distance. So once we've found all of our distances, we have to add them up to find our perimeter. So I would add 8 plus 6 plus 5.9 plus 7 plus 3 plus 6, and that would give me my perimeter. So once I add all of these sides up, that will give me perimeter.